All right, so I got the timing chain changed. Here's the bad one. Everybody, in the last video, you saw the missing piece that broke off. And here's the problem. The Chevy 350 oil pan, you have to put the timing cover on first and then install the oil pan. It's so the lip at the front of the timing cover seals against the oil pan. In this situation, I pulled the timing cover without dropping the pan. So I've got everything sealed back up, and we're just gonna I'm gonna let it cure for 24 hours because I used some ultra black in some places. And we're just gonna have to see if it holds up, because if it doesn't, there's a serious oil leak that'll happen at the front of the engine. There we go. So behind the RTV is the there's like a front lip seal. Let me show you what the seal looks like. Here's one right here. See the smiley face seal? That goes on the front of the timing cover. And then that bottom part seals against the oil pan, and the little top part's right up here. See, it's like a little tab. That seals against the cork oil pan gasket in the corners. But that's made to be installed with the pan, with the cover on, and the pan goes on last. But I see, you can see here's the cork, and it goes out across here, and then that little lip seal is behind here and shoots across, and it presses up against it. So you also have the dowel pins that locate, see the dowel pin that locates the timing cover? So those dowel pins are in a place that if the timing cover is installed first, when you put the oil pan on, it pushes up against the timing cover, that seal. So when you do it backwards, you have to like pull down on the timing cover and push it down into the oil pan to get the dowels to line up. And that's what I did. And you know, that's not the ideal way to do it, but there we have a better view over here. So basically I put a little RTV on the bottom gasket there, and then I put the cover up there and pulled down on it, you know, just like a couple of millimeters. It compressed the gasket down and lined up with the dowels, and then I pushed it forward. And those are torqued to like 5 pounds, 6 pounds, the bolts. And it made a little bead of RTV, you know, squirt out, and then I smoothed it out with my finger. And that's exactly how the original engine builder, that's the way it looked from him. And I had no leaking issues. So I just tried to recreate it exactly how he did it, except for the fact that, you know, I didn't install the timing cover first and then the oil pan. And you can see I've got a new Felpo gasket behind there. And these timing covers don't take a lot of pressure. Like I said, it's only 5 pounds of pressure on these bolts, otherwise you'll bend it. So, engine's back together. Cool part about race car parts is to take everything apart, it's really quick. You know, that screws off with a wrench. And, you know, to loosen your power steering, you just undo that bolt. And for the alternator, it's a bolt there. So it's like 6 bolts, then 2 on each side of the water pump, and everything just comes off. So it's really quick to take everything apart and put back together. Because with race cars, you got to do that a lot. See if I can show it from the top. Let's see here. Let's lower this thing down. Just give it a second to get onto the ground here. Sorry for the shitty camera work. I'm having to hold the lever that releases the locks on the lift. All right, I'll show a top view of it here. That's probably good. Yeah, there we go. And the water pump, you know, there's 2 bolts on the water pump and some spacers. But that's it. This really comes off easy and goes on really easy. The water pump's been modified. As you see down there at the bottom, it you know, it had a threads welded onto it, so we could put on these Brown and Miller hoses, which you just use a end wrench to take off the hoses. And then there's also cooler lines that go from the pump in between the center 2 cylinders. There's one right there also. So like I said, I'm going to let this sit overnight. Hopefully everything seals up and does not leak. God, I got that belt on there tight. I don't know if that's too tight or not. See, there's you just undo that bolt right there and the power steering slides this way. I might be able to loosen that up just a hair. I think you want a little play in the belt. Anyway, I'll record when I crank it up and go for a test drive and see if it leaks down there.